probably got acquainted with the rifle I with me here today. So I'm wearing the uniform of a soldier of the 23rd United States Infantry Regiment, Company E, that will be stationed here at Fort Mackinac from 1884 to 1890. And during this time, Fort Mackinac is going to be serving as the headquarters of the 2nd National Park of the United States. So this is a very peaceful fort, a very relaxing station. The soldiers still have lots of work to do. And here at Fort Mackinac, one of the things the soldiers have been taking time to do is target practice. This is one of the things that makes the Army of the 1880s so unique. This is the first time in U.S. Army history that soldiers are actually going to take the time to do target practice. And they're doing this not because prior generations of soldiers were just naturally better shots than them. In reality, most soldiers before joining the Army, whether it's the American Revolution or all the way through, had never held a rifle before in their lives. The only thing that had changed was the technology and the tactics that they were using. So, during the Civil War, all the way back to the American Revolution, soldiers typically stood shoulder to shoulder in big long lines of hundreds of thousands of men, firing semi-accurate muzzle-loading muskets, which only had an accurate range of up to 100 yards. So it really did require those soldiers to learn real long-range, precise target practice. You're simply just standing in line, you're all going to fire at once down and can target a few hundred yards away. But this changes in 1873 when the United States Army issues their soldiers the very rifle that I have with me here today. This is the Springfield 4570, otherwise known as a trapdoor rifle. This signified a huge change in the Army, because instead of having to take a paper cartridge, find it, pour it down the barrel, draw a ramrod, send it down, return the ramrod, unless it was some sort of protection cap or flip-flop, all I need to do to load and fire this rifle is simply bring back the hammer twice, open the rising breech block, take a very modern-looking brass 4570 cartridge, which would have had a 45 caliber bullet here at the top, with 70 grains of black powder. Hence the name 4570. With a center fire primer in the rear of the cartridge to light it all off. I'd insert the cartridge into the rear of the rifle here, close the rising breech block, bring back the hammer one more time, and I'd be ready to fire. So a soldier back in the 1860s could fire maybe 1 or 2 to 3 rounds a minute, but a soldier in the 1880s who was well trained could fire between 12 and 15 shots a minute. This rifle is also far more accurate. So rifling, the machine grooves inside the barrel that give the bullet spin, making it much more accurate. Now they had rifling before they had breech loaders, but in order to use that, fire that rifle the same rate as you could a smoothbore weapon, you had to fire a bullet that was slightly smaller than the bore of the rifle. They would expand and meet those grooves. It works still quite a bit better than a smoothbore, but it's not very accurate. With a breech-loading rifle like this, I can make the bullet the exact same diameter as the bore of the rifle, so I can, that bullet will be much more snug against those grooves and go faster, farther, and much more accurate. This rifle, so this is a really great piece of Army equipment, but the soldiers, just because they're getting this high piece of equipment, don't know how to use them all that well, because the Army's still stuck in the past of its training methods. They don't adapt the training to this new rifle. So marksmanship practice is left up to individual officers. So if you had an officer who was very interested in marksmanship skills, might go out and fire rifles for him, but if not, he didn't. And that's led to a lot of problems. So finally, in 1885, the United States Army developed the blunt system. So now soldiers have been required to go out onto the rifle range at least twice a week. And here at Fort Mackinac, they've been holding to that, using 1 or 2 rifle ranges here on Mackinac Island, a 600-yard range directly behind the fort between here and Fort Holmes, and then another 1,000-yard range east of there near Sugarloaf. And some of the best marksmen in the United States Army will be stationed right here at Fort Mackinac. Of the 80 to 100 soldiers stationed here, 40 of them are going to earn the designation of marksman, meaning they can hit a target at a high consistency at 600 yards. Another dozen or so of those soldiers will earn the further designation of sharpshooter, meaning they can hit a horse-sized target at 1,000 yards. That's like shooting from here all the way out to the White Lighthouse in the harbor. But I'm not here to prove to you that any sort of marksman is a sharpshooter, and I can demonstrate the speed of this rifle if that sounds like a good idea to you folks. All right. So obviously we aren't using any 45 caliber bullets because that would be incredibly loud. But we're still going to use the full 70 grains of black powder. Sorry, it would be incredibly dangerous. But we're still using the full 70 grains of black powder, so it will still be quite loud. So I'm going to be putting these bright orange foam to start the inaccurate earplugs.